Hello guys, welcome to AG Data Smith. My name is Alex and I'm so happy to have you here today. Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you how to enter your data and define variables on SPSS. So these are SPSS spreadsheets and I'm sure you'll be familiar with this if you've worked with Microsoft Excel before. Alright, so but there's a bit difference because for each of the title of each column we have what is written as var, which is also known as variable. All right, and secondly, down here we have data view and we have variable view. So I'm going to explain that. So the data view is where we have to input our data one by one, but then before we start imputing our variables, we'll have to come to the variable view. So variable view is quite different because the data view will have var variables as the title of each column, but here we have name, we have type, we have weight, we have decimal down to row. Alright, so I'm going to explain that. Alright, so for the first one, not forgetting we have var as the title of each column. So for the first one, we're going to have ID as our first entry. Alright, so every other thing pops up, but I'm going to explain that as we proceed. So coming back to the data view, we can see that the first column here is changed to ID because we've actually defined it from our variable view. Alright, so that is that about name and type. So this is you choosing the kind of data you're trying to impute into SPSS spreadsheet. So we have numeric, we have comma, we have dot, and I feel like we're basically going to work with numeric, date, and string. Well, it also depends on how your data set is, but I strongly believe these are the ones you should be working more frequently with. Alright, so but for this we're going to stick with numeric and that's okay. So the weight is basically how the length of the column of your entries, your data, and decimal. So let me quickly explain this decimal. So coming back to your data view, we can have our entries to be 1, we have 2, and we have 3. Now you can see that it has 2 decimal places which are the 0 after the decimal point. So to get rid of that, we would just come back to variable view and drop this down to 0. And once that is implemented, we would see that our numbers are just 1, 2, and 3. Alright. So back to variable view. Here is a label. Now the label is one of the most important parts because this is what appears at the output of your analysis or whatever chart you're trying to build after this entry of your data. So you need to be very specific when dealing with your label. So for this we're just going to leave it as ID. That's then your value is basically for categorical data. So when you're trying to code your data to a particular number or letter, but we're going to deal with this later, but for now it's just random numbers, just 1 to 3, and then we cannot assign 1 to 3 to a specific number. So I'll come back to that. Alright, so missing is I'll come back to this too, and then we have column. So column is basically the length of each of your entry, and then we have align. So align basically is if you want your entries to be left aligned, right aligned, or centered. So for this we're just going to have it to be right, and measure. So this also is one of the most important aspects of your data entry, or defining your variables in SPSS. So we have our scale. Scale has to do with you talking, or it's basically about you if you have numbers, range, if you have range of numbers you'd want to work with. Or ordinal has to do with it needs to be in order, as the word implies, it needs to be in order. As we can see, we have this graph here, so this should just tell us that this has to be in order. And then we have just 3 bubbles here, which is nominal. So this is a kind of data that do not follow a specific kind of order. Alright, so and for this we're just going to leave scale because at the end of the day we are not going to use it for anything, nothing serious. Alright, so we've just been able to define our first column, our ID. Alright, so we're going to have our second entry to be gender. So we have gender. Alright, so the type we're just going to leave it as numeric too, and I'm going to explain why. Alright, so the decimal we need to drop it down to 0, and the label, so remember I said we need to be specific, right? We can also just leave it as gender, All right, so the value, now this is what I was trying to explain. All right, so the value, we have two gender, we have male and we have female. So we can assign this male and female to a specific number, coding it with a specific number. So we can have one here, and the one should be male. We can click on add, then we have two and this should be female. Sorry, I beg your pardon. So, and we click on add. So that's it. We have one for male and two for female. So missing, if we have a missing value, we can just assign a particular number to missing value. Now here is clicked no missing value, so we can just tell the SPSS that we don't have a missing value from our questionnaire. But if we do, we can click on discrete and click on, you can choose any number, maybe 88. All right, and click on OK. So whenever SPSS reaches a missing value and then it sees 88, it identifies that as a missing value. All right, so but I'm not sure we're going to be using this for this class because we don't have a missing value from our questionnaire. All right, so this is going to be the same thing, and the gender is we're going to be choosing nominal because we cannot say male is more gender than female or female is more gender than male. It doesn't follow a specific order, so it's just male and female, right? So that makes it nominal. And we can come down to this place and we can see that our second column is changed to gender with the nominal symbol here, and this has the scale symbol here. All right, going back to a variable view, the third is age. All right, so we have age, and then yeah, obviously it's going to be numeric, and we drop down our decimal. So here we can also just leave it as age. Yeah, and we cannot assign a specific number to this age because there are about 10 different age and they are large numbers that do not really repeat itself. So we're just going to leave it this way, and then we have no missing value. I think we should leave this as no missing value because we do not also have any missing value here. So it's going to be right aligned, and coming down to this place, age is going to be something else. All right, it's not going to be nominal, it's going to be scale because it has to do with the function of time. So it's going to be scale. It doesn't follow a specific order and it's a function of time, so it's going to be scale. All right, and coming down to our variable view, we can see that age is added and it carries the scale symbol. So for the fourth one, this is where we're going to be entering our educational background. Educational background. Now firstly, we cannot have space when typing on our name column when it has to do with the variable view. All right, let me just get this done. All right, so we cannot have space because firstly, SPSS do not permit space. Secondly, do not permit special character aside underscore, and it must begin with a letter. So because this has space, if we should click on, now it's bringing us an error message which says variable name contains an illegal character. So that is because of the space. So let's redo this and we can have educational background. All right, so no space, let's have an underscore instead, and let's say background. All right, so yeah, so it's accepted now because we have underscore instead of just space, and you can just type it all together to be educational background, or you separate it with an underscore, and that's just it. So it's going to be numeric, and our decimal is going to be drops down to 2. So we can have our educational background here. Yeah, background. All right, so here we're going to be assigning our educational, the degrees based on the entries from our respondents. So we're going to be having the first one to be high school. So we can either type it in full to be high school. Okay, just for the sake of this video, we're just going to be abbreviate it. So this is high school diploma. That's HSD, high school diploma. We click on add, and then number 2 we are having bachelor's degree. That's B and D. So we click on that. The third we're going to be having a master's degree. That's MD. And the fourth we're going to be having doctoral degree. So that should be DD. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. So that's the fourth one, and we're going to be having DD, and we click on add. And the fifth one, we're going to be having professional degree, which is PD, and we'll click on add. So that's okay. Then it's going to be right aligned, and this is going to be different. It's going to be ordinal because it has to do with in a specific order in a grade, which is from the smallest, which is the high school diploma, down to professional diploma, sorry, professional degree. So it's going to be ordinal. All right, and then so for the fifth one, we're going to be having religion. I beg your pardon. All right, so and for this, we're still going to be leaving numeric also. All right, and drop our decimal to 0. So we have religion, and for the religion, we are going to be sticking with just 2 religions. So we're going to have 1 for Islam. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Islam, and we'll click on add. And for 2, we're going to be using Christianity. All right, so that's 2. Then click on add. So that's okay, and we're still going to pick nominal because there's no particular order to this thing. So we've been able to define all our data sets. So I would just maybe choose an entry, start entering your data. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then we're going to have the last one, just 10. So just permit me to quickly rush this as so we can shorten the length of this video. Yeah. All right, so our data set has been entered, and then don't get confused. You're seeing 1, 1, 2, and the whole of the number. I understand. So once we click on this toggle, we'll have to see all of our data sets the way we would want to see them. All right, so it's as easy as this. Okay, but most importantly, just to round up, be very careful of your name. Make sure it doesn't have a space. You can either type it together or then leave an underscore. Your label should be well detailed because this is what shows after your analysis or maybe your charts when building your charts. And be sure you have the right type and the right measures. All right, thank you for watching. I'm sure you learned today. So that is all for today, and I'm sure you enjoyed and you learned something today. So thank you. Please remember to subscribe, like, and also turn on your notification bell for more videos as this. Thank you.